Hello, one and all. Thanks to Magnitude Finance for helping me achieve my dream car. I'm just kidding. But it is a British car, so hey, why not make a seen-through glass joke? But this car is a Lotus Evora GT. It's a 2020 model, and it has been provided to me by Aston Martin and Lotus of New England in Waltham, Massachusetts. So huge thanks to them. They're hilarious because this weekend, it's obviously a little cold, there's some snow on the ground, and I thought, hey, you know what, this would be a good weekend to have a touring car like an Aston Martin DB11. Instead, they said, no, take the Evora. I said, okay, but actually it's been really good. It's warming up today. Yesterday was quite cold, and the Pilot Sport Cup 2s, either they're trying to kill me or they just trust me a lot, so hopefully it's the latter. But before we go for a drive, and if you want to just see the drive footage, go ahead and skip. But I want to show you around this car because it is pretty fun. It's a little funky, and I want to show you a little bit what it's like to live with because it's different. It's not a Porsche. And man, isn't that the best thing it has going for it? So first off, this key is really fun. Not anything like you've seen. Very Lotus, I like that. Exterior styling has changed a bit from the 400. The GT is a US market car only, and pretty much all the improvements on this car, exterior-wise, are designed to improve downforce. So this car is now a lot stickier on the road, and it weighs about the same as what you would have gotten in a Nissan 350Z. It's about 3,200 pounds, and you've got quite a nice little footprint. In the rear, you've got 295, so it sticks pretty good. Inside the car. Didn't get that on your Elise in 2005, did you? Inside the car, this one's not optioned with the full carbon package. If you get the full carbon package, the roof and I think this deck lid would all be carbon fiber. This one is optioned fairly conservatively, probably around $100,000, 102. But you do get, they've got these carbon sills, and up here on the dashboard, carbon dash. From the Evora 400, there's some nice big differences. Let me put this seat back. Actually, let me show you the rears too, because you can option this as a 2+2, which, you know what, screw it. I'm going to try and get in. Oof, there's a little bit of a cutout for a head, but this is emergency only. Yeah, that's, I'm out of the car. That's, yeah. So this is definitely for a child. Or, you know what, to be honest, it's just a nice platform for stuff. I've been putting my backpack here. Nice carbon fiber backing on the seats. Looks pretty classy. Oof. And a pretty sleek little leather pull tab here. These seats are really nice. I spent some time in them in the last 24 hours or so, and I like them a lot. Inside, biggest differences you're going to notice from the original Evora and the Evora 400, buttons. Lotus has really figured out their game here because in the past, they always kind of looked like kit cars. And now this is like really well screwed together. When I drove an Elise for the first time, I remember feeling like I was driving something that I had built. It was rattly, everything was off, everything was loose. This is not the case anymore. When you pay $100,000 for an Evora, you're getting a really nice package. So instead of having the weird little button stack over here in the Evora 400, you get this nice layout here. So now you've got your heated seats, which by the way are insane. They're just on or off. There's no other settings. But when they're on, they're on. So you only need that for a minute. Use that for a quick little boost. Then you've got your sport, your race, obviously other buttons, and your exhaust button. That's important. The car sounds incredible with the exhaust on. So what you can do in touring mode when you don't have the race or sport mode on is you can hit that. It illuminates red and your exhaust goes on. But in sport mode, the exhaust goes on automatically. It's part of the sport mode thing. So sport mode is going to increase your RPMs from a red line of 6,600 RPM to 7,000 RPM, same in race. But when you hit sport mode, turns on the exhaust. If you want to be in sport mode and have a quiet exhaust, you can hit sport and exhaust, and boom, now you've got sport mode, quiet exhaust. Great. Center stack here for your HVAC controls is really nice. A little clunky, a little awkward because you've got your gear lever here. So, you know, if you're in 6th gear cruising, maybe it's not that hard, but I mean, look, I'm trying to pick out the little niggles I have with the car. Not crazy. Interior finish is fantastic. The Alcantara is nice. All the touch points are really nice. Everything's soft. The steering wheel, I think on camera it looks pretty small. It's actually the right size. The Elise, the old Elise, those were really small steering wheels. Kind of goofy. I like this a lot. I think the only thing I would improve about this car is the seating position. And I'm not saying it because it's bad. It's like a 7 out of 10. But I do feel like I'm a little elevated. I'd rather be kind of sat on the floor like in the Elise. But that's okay. This is fine. I'm not complaining. And the visibility is still quite good out of the car. The only place where visibility is really at a minimum is straight back. But we've got a reverse camera and it's not terrible. But you can see the engine straight out of the back, which is fun. This entertainment system. Not a huge fan. It's kind of bad, but it does have Apple CarPlay and like Bluetooth capability now, which is great. So it's actually functional, but the only volume controls are these two buttons and they're really cheap. This is like what I would have put in my, Toyota Celica in high school. So that's a little annoying, but I'll deal because that's not why you buy this car. To be honest, Lotus could have just said, you know what? You get nothing. You get no radio because this car's so good you don't need it. And I think they still would have sold just as many. The handbrake, it's a little strange. When I put it down, I always feel like, I'm like, is it down? So anyway, put it down. I don't know, it's hard. I always check it because it's always elevated just a little bit. And so I'm always just double checking that it's actually down. And the gear shift, they give you this great stitched shift boot. This knob is gorgeous, and it's got this engraving with the gear positions on it. Really solid, nice shifts. This car is really fun to drive, and this is a good manual. This car you can get in an automatic with some flappy paddles. This is the move. Do not get the flappy paddle. I don't even need to drive that to tell you and advise you, because this is a good gearbox. This is a good manual. The trunk. So can you travel in this car? So first I want to show you where these buttons are. Down here, it's kind of awkward when you're in the car, but you've got your gas and you've got your trunk. So we'll open those just so you can see what that looks like. When you open the gas lid, it flaps right all the way open, which is nice. So sometimes that doesn't open all the way. Doesn't want to open for me. All right, let's try something. There we go. Okay, so we also have our button here. I don't think that's a Lotus thing. I think that's kind of just a stupid, we live in a world of these electronic latches thing. So we've got some trunk space. It's actually not bad. You can't really put luggage in it, but if you've got a soft bag, a gym bag, something like that, it's fine. I had my big weekend bag and a bunch of camera equipment back here. There's enough space for me. Another big difference from the 400 and the original Evora, this is a lot cleaner. This was not a very pretty sight in those other cars, the older cars. Now this is actually kind of a nice thing to show off. You might go to a car show and actually pull this up and be like, ooh, yeah, supercharger. And then, you've got this nice Lotus cover and all that good stuff. Funky things in here are like, there's like an overflow container up over here for the coolant, I think. Or maybe that's just where you put the coolant in. Or, no, man, it's probably that. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you about that. But there's just some cool stuff. And you can see like this beautifully welded container, all kinds of nice things. We've got these great aluminum brackets. And the struts hold this up, so I don't need to use a prop or anything. Some things, those are a little wiggly. Not crazy, but hey. We'll give him a pass for that. Overall, the car now is just so beautiful. And let's talk more about that aero. So now we've got this wing, right? I think this wing really kind of finishes off the look of the car. Big Evora GT. If you don't want that, take it off. But this diffuser's amazing with the center single exhaust. And my absolute favorite part of the rear of the car is now these guys channeling air right from the wheel wells. Super cool. And in typical like British car McLaren aero things, you end up with just like salt and sand and all kinds of junk. But yeah, they've still got the bumper guards, which they don't look so bad. I think every time I think about bumper guards, I'm thinking about old Porsches and how nightmarish they are and how you've got to get them off immediately, or like old Mercedes, but these actually look pretty nice. Wheels, gorgeous, gorgeous wheels. I really like these. Very simple, tasteful, and in the it's like a hyper silver kind of color. I think they look fantastic. Yep, in case you were wondering. More air channeling. What else? Oh, this little cutout here I think is really nice. That gives it a real exotic look. There's these little details in this car that just kind of add to the overall styling, and it really transformed the car. When this first came out, when the Evora was first on the market, I didn't get it. I said, just give us the Elise. This is the wrong car. This is starting to get really good, and I think with the GT now we've got something real special here. Cool mono wiper. This is all just radiator, aero, and cooling up here, so we don't have anything to open up here. Mono wiper, cool, we like that. And another big thing, like I said, aero-wise, revised is this front lip, changed from the Evora 400. So let's get in and take it for a drive. Inside the Lotus, interesting startup procedure, because what you'll notice over here is we've got an engine start button, we have a key, we have our ignition switch over here. There is a procedure, and Lotus owners probably are hating that I'm about to tell you how to do this. But on the key, to kill the immobilizer, you've got to hit the center button. You'll notice that changes. Then we put our key in. We turn our key. Then we hold this button. It's not just a press and done. If you do that, it won't start. That's like old school in a normal car. You go, boop, and it would just not start. So you do have to hold that button. Make sure that we've got this all the way down. Okay, on the dashboard, you'll notice you have your blue water thing. There's no water temp gauge on here, as far as I can tell. That's your water temp. That basically is going to tell you that you are up to temperature and ready to go. So, outside temperature right now, 38 degrees Fahrenheit. Operating temperature of Michelin Cup 2s and Pilot Super Sports and 4Ss, etc. Those are all usually about 45 degrees. So we are going to be slightly gentle today, but luckily this car has pretty good traction control. And we're going to turn on our frying heated seats. If you ever had a dog in the car, I don't know that I'd recommend ever using these seats, the heated seats for the dog, because they are very hot. So keep an eye out for that. Okay, I'm gonna put it in sport mode. Instant change, you hear that? That's sport. That's touring. Okay, so now you get that. Reverse camera, pretty necessary considering that out the back, that's all you see. Not my favorite, and I think the only other thing that bothers me about visibility in this car is that mirror. It's kind of hidden by the car, so no matter what position you put your mirror in, when you're sitting like this little triangle guy kind of blocks the mirror. It's weird. So that's something I've not seen in modern cars. I'm gonna tripod a little bit here. The car's low, but it's not outrageously low. Supercharger gives us torque instantly. It's so nice. I don't have to apply really any throttle. I can just kind of clunk around. There's basically no heat in the gearbox or engine yet, and I'm already very comfortably driving it at low speeds. That is nice. A lot of times, racy kind of cars, everything needs to be at a certain temperature and they're not happy. This car seems to be okay in cold temps, so you're not going to be fighting synchros. Our little light is off, which means the car is warmed up, and I can start to show you the character of this 3.5 liter supercharged Toyota V6. So what I was talking about earlier in the car before we started, I'm in sport mode, which gives me better throttle response, higher redline, and the sports exhaust. But if I want to be in sport mode and I also don't want to have the loud exhaust, I can hit the exhaust button. Quiets the exhaust down. Now, the funny thing about this is now the exhaust is illuminated. So I have red here, which if I had the sport mode off, now I'm in touring mode, quiet exhaust. If I want the exhaust on, I turn it on, and this is red. But if I want to be in sport mode with the exhaust off, the exhaust on red means the exhaust is off. Fun stuff. Yes, very, very Lotus. Normally what I'd be doing is going out and finding some untraveled back roads, but it's melty today and I'm on Cup 2s. That's not the move. So instead, driving some well-traveled roads, and I'm going to take you out on the highway because I do want to show you what it feels like to really engage with this car wide open. Transmission in this car are really special because you've got this reliable Toyota V6 with a supercharger on it that pulls really nicely to redline. Fantastic brakes to make sure we don't get arrested. But more importantly is this gearbox and just the feel of the clutch in conjunction with the throttle and gearbox. That's something that sometimes is hard to match. And this car, other than the occasional awkward blip, everything's really nice and it feels a little overbuilt even. And the last time I felt something kind of close to that was maybe the B7 RS4, where you go, whoa, this is where the money went. This is where there's like a really sticky, grabby clutch, but still very drivable. And that's a hard balance to make. So this is still pretty easy to drive around town, but it's got a racy feel. There's no softness. Everything is very deliberate, and every gear change feels like an event. At highway speeds, we're still well under 3,000 RPM and about 80 miles an hour, which is great. I do want to show you this wiper though. Single wiper, so choice. All right, well, that's the review of the Lotus Evora GT. I really like this car a lot. I think it's a great alternative to the standard Porsche GT3 formula, and having a mid-engine platform like this opens the door for a very different kind of feel. I mean, everything's either, you know, front engine rear-wheel drive or the typical Porsche rear engine formula. This is a true driver's car in every sense, and basically to get anything close to this, you've got to be up in Ferrari McLaren territory. That's at least double your money. So the Evora GT, nice interior, quirky for sure, definitely a quirky car, but it's solid quirky. It's not falling apart, dilapidated quirky. That's important. So there's the Evora GT. Thank you again to Aston Martin Lotus of New England, and I appreciate loaning the car for the weekend. Definitely makes my job a heck of a lot easier to spend some real time with the car to understand how it operates and what I actually like and don't like about it. This car has far more pros than cons, and I was expecting to find a lot of strange things in this car, or poor build quality, or just things that I was like, you know what, why would anyone buy this? But the reality is, I would buy this. This is a fantastic car, and I hope that for my sake, they depreciate a little bit, because on the used market, if you're gonna be able to get these for like $60,000, whoa, watch out guys. These are gonna be hot machines on the street and the racetrack. And Also appreciate Carl Knights, who apparently hand-built this car. There's a little plaque on there. Thanks, Carl. Did a good job. I like this one. Don't forget to respect the drive, and I'll see you in the next one. It's a driver's car in the truest sense, and there's very few of those out there today. And I think especially as we get into like the 992 generation, I do have fear that even Porsche is going to get a little numb. So it's good that there's still options like this. So if you are considering a GT3, please, whether you buy this or not, go drive it. Just know what you're missing out on if you buy the competition.